Hello all, Dr. Fox back here with you, the weekend update. Oh gosh, we've been trying to declutter around here. I'll talk about that in a bit. We've got a few updates going on, some hot fixes. We'll talk about that, some links. I'll share a few more things. We got a few other things going on with that whole hearing trial mess going on. Well, not really updates, but just a few more things to add that some articles have been coming out about that as well. I think we'll get into this, shan't we? Dr. Fox back here with you with the weekend update. Glad to have you along. Thanks for coming along. I hope if you're living here in New England and those that don't like humidity, I hope you're able to stay cool. That's just what I had to shut my AC off here just a couple of minutes ago, and hope you're enjoying. So you can see Miss Mora up there. And I'll be checking on my niece later today as well. I'm actually recording this on Saturday, and something I wanted to mention last week, Saturday the 14th. One of those funny comedies. It was on Comment last week. If you have it in your, say, physical or your digital library to enjoy that every once in a while. We don't have a lot of Saturday 14th that pop up every once in a while. And I always find it more enjoyable to do it on the Saturday the 14th than I do on some other random day. But it's a fun little comedy from days past. But I hope you're all holding up okay. Hope you're able to stay cool in this humidity. Thankfully, it always starts breaking, and it will be breaking soon. But I know while you're in the middle of it, it's like trying to deal with it. So I'm actually recording this Saturday a bit sooner. So I just wanted to mention coming up 9.1.5. Yes, that has been confirmed, and we're going to have a lot of confirmed information slowly wheedling out that we're going to be touching on, especially this weekend here that I'm going to touch on as well. We've got the so now that we know it's pretty much 2 Renown every week, we should pretty much be hitting Renown by about October 19th. Where are you at, Renown? Or are you playing something else right now? If you are, share that with us as well. If I've done the math correctly, we may see 9.1.5 drop somewhere in the ballpark of like October 19th-ish, maybe, or the following week. Around there, we should just about be maxing out our 80 Renowned if we're getting 2 a week. I think I just hit 62. When I log in for calendar, we'll double check that little detail. And of course, I'll be talking about what I've been up to, whether it be in-game or out. And pretty much in-game, I can sum that one up really quick. It's pretty much 2 Renown a week, and then with my guild on TBC Classic on Mondays for a few minutes here and a few minutes here. We haven't been able to the last few weeks. It's been kind of crazy for all of us, so trying to line that up has been a little struggling. So, but boy, wouldn't it be nice, if we could kind of be awesome if they could kind of open up some new options. What do you want to see? And usually the 0.5 a patch that comes out isn't anything major. Wouldn't it be cool to see something like maybe the heritage story or some more of that continuing for a couple of the other classes. But speaking of that, we are going to see there's some hot fixes coming in the next patch 9.1.5. We've got the Night Fae have some new looks coming out. We've got the Druids doing new travel forms. The Draenei are gonna have a few more goodies as well. There'll be new customizations coming. Usually we don't get customizations in the 0.5s, but they can come anytime, right? Why not? So let's see. Of course, we've got more of that ABK update article stuff that I was only briefly touching on. There's more articles out. Like I said, I'll add a link for that in the description as well. I'm not even going to talk about it because we're going to leave it at that. It's sort of a safe space here. I know sometimes we get talking about some pretty in-depth stuff as well because as being a psychiatrist, and all, and we start touching on some of those kinds of bases, but I'm not going to touch on that too much at the moment as well. We're about 4 weeks into that movement right now, and I think we'll kind of leave it at that and your own discretion at this point. They've also got the what is that? Something about the critter shape, some kind of critter shape thing coming to do something to squirrels or some of the other little critters and stuff. We'll have to kind of see. what that's about or if that will come to pass. I know we've had a lot of things that they'll talk about before, especially a great example, Warlords of Draenor. We've seen like they're like, oh, we're gonna add this whole other island, and then we're gonna have and then either they didn't have, well, there was a whole list of reasons why that ended up not happening. But there are all kinds of things like that. That's just one of many examples. There's a lot of other stuff in WoW that was abandoned, if you will, or didn't. But I like the recently there was this discussion with Asmongold too. I think that was really cool. Like I'd love to see achievements come just sort of like WoW Classic Plus or whatever we want to call it, or New Classic Vanilla or something like that. He hit some bullet points on some things I'd like to see add that back in, because a lot of times that's why I'm still going back to retail right now, is for certain achievements, to be honest, and looking for other things, and like the folders and stuff, because having to get filled up and you're only it's a whole nother frivolous conversation for a different day. Let me just kind of leave it at that as well. The some clarifications on those conduits, those upgrades in Korthia. Yeah, I've been plugging away and grinding away at those. I try to do it a couple days a week. I pretty much get in for like, or sometimes I'll wait till like Wednesday. That way there's 2 sets of quests up, and I'll hit all of them that day, and then I'll have to run into the maw for just like one of the big bosses or something. And don't even talk to me about the rep I need back in the maw. I'm waiting until I get a little more powerful before I backtrack to the maw to worry about that, because it's still a little bit over. It's a bit overwhelming still in there. I can get killed still fairly easily, and I'm still plugging away, and it's a grind, man. I'm just trying to get some of my gear up. We'll go into that. I'll show you what gear I've gotten. I think now some people are way ahead, and they already have all their stuff blasted, and that's great. Or not blasted, but like it's a saying for saying like you're having all the gear upgraded as far as you can go. But I don't know. I think I'm in the honored stage, or like I'm almost tier 4 from this particular character, NPC that you're trying to grind out those research pieces from. The research reminds me a lot of the research you used to have to gather from Warlords of Draenor too, and Kata and stuff for the Darkmoon Fair and things like that. And then there was a whole vendor and stuff over in Ashran. But it kind of reminds me of that, and so that grind is just, it's taking a while, because most of my gear now, I think it's the whole left side is like 220, my weapon is 220, and then I still got, I think, 4 more pieces on the right side, something like that as well. Let me see, yeah, I guess for a lot of people that are grinding out there right now, the first enhanced conduit out of Torgest, I guess they're getting their sockets through that. Seems to be a bit better or slightly less grind time, I guess, is what we're finding. If that helps for you, share that. I'm kind of curious. As well as hopefully they'll take away some of those. Now, obviously, we know that you're not supposed to be advertising, but we know that crap just continuously goes on and on, no matter how much you try to frivolously fight at it. But suppose we got to be level 60 for a mythic quest. You can't just, obviously, and a lot of people aren't going to be queuing for that prior, but some do queue for like lower level stuff. But that's really not what we're getting at here for the mythic dungeons. I guess there's been a lot of, we're running into a lot of that with those dungeon queues and whatnot from seeing a lot of that mess continuing as well. The something else I think I wanted to touch on as well. I guess that's close enough. I mean, if there's anything else you think I should have touched on this week, or my luck, I missed it, or something else, just touch on that as well. What I've been up to this week, I am excited. Offline, I have been trying, well, first off, it's been absolutely chaotic, stressful, anxiety-driven, and no matter what technique you use, it is not that simple. I'm just grateful that I'm strong enough and I don't turn to alcohol or pot or smoking or other variants that will just mask the problem and don't want to deal with it. It allows you to be much more hyper vigilant as well. And look, now, there's tons and thousands of human beings that don't want to deal with stuff going on. I get it, okay? But we have to find other means without us turning to that. Now, there's always the exception to the rule, and I know no matter what I say, there's always rebuttal to it, and all these other variants. All I'm saying is we have to continue to be strong no matter how hard this stuff grinds us down. And sometimes we have to, especially for those that understand the effects of, say, medication, things like that. Obviously, in the medical field, there are ways to variant that medication by using a different type of medication. That part's fine. That's not what I'm sitting here, and I'm not preaching about anything. I'm just sharing with you that, and again, this has always been about just opening up and having this conversation and talking about it and getting the words to function through. But I think just with all that chaos, we're trying to find little things. And I had such a stressful week. And when I'm referring to some of this stuff, generally it's just sharing with you how my chaos is, how I'm trying to deal with my chaos. That's all. I'm not trying to say someone needs to do it this way and this is how it works. Because we know no matter what you do, this is what gets me. I used to hate about bosses back in the day. I hated that word anyway. But supervisors, if you will, and it was like, no, you do it this one way. No, there's like 10 different ways to get to the end result, whether one might be slightly shorter or quicker than another might be, or something like that. I mean, I get that all the time, say, when I'm running somebody around town, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're just going to turn here? There are like 10 ways to get there, and I have used every one of them, and they're all about the same amount of time. So, we could use the supernatural rules of driving, but we know those don't apply because when I've used the supernatural rules, clearly it doesn't still apply to them. But it seems to for others. So, but anyway, that's another frivolous thing. But so what I was leading back to, and I wanted to share this with you right now. So, in all the chaos going on, and I'm running up short. I have gone from list after list after list after list of freaking help and lawyers and everything else, and it's very, 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 very stressful. And either they forget to be human beings, and it ends up becoming about the money, or told I make too much, or they're retiring. Oh, we're not taking on any clients. God, if I gotta hear that one more time. Freaking crikeys. Look, I know I'm just an ant. I get it. You don't want to open a door and let another ant in there. I get it, okay? We don't have to freaking grind it to the freaking... And I know they're only saying it to me for the first time, but I'm hearing it for the thousandth time. And I know they're having to say it thousands of times to other people, too. They just don't need to be like that. And it's ridiculous. And all these other pieces of chaos coming in from every other direction. And it's overwhelming. And it's anxiety-driven. It just makes you want to go... I mean, come on. Yes. And then I got so much more going on. Anyway, with all these pieces going on in place, no matter how hard I try, no matter how much I reset my brain, no matter how much I try these techniques, no matter how much, I do all this, and I'm not saying, oh my God, I do all this, and nothing works, so I might as well just throw crap at. No, we're deteriorating every day. I don't want to sound morbid, but why throw crap at it just to, and someone like, yeah, good, now I don't have to worry about living till old age. Yahoo! That's great for you, but I'm trying to function here and work towards something down the road, and a lot of people don't care. They just want the world to end, or they want the world to go in an apocalyptic circumstance, or they just want to go back to the routine they had, or... There's so list of... Anyway, with all that chaos going on, I got to share with you, I'm so excited. I really got back into my hobby. For those that are following me on Instagram, know that I'm all excited. I think I had shown you all. I was all ecstatic. It took decades. We finally finished me just visually hunting and hunting and hunting. This doesn't always happen. And I'm so excited to finally finish the G1 Predaking. And I shared that, and I'm all excited. I've got a few more combiners that I'm wrapping up. I've even been going diligently through all my, not just cleaning up, and it's really exciting. I'll share my link. I think it's on McCarty, or however you pronounce that one. And man, I would have totally done that with my amiibos, but I'm having pretty good. It feels great just to be getting a lot of this. I don't want to say clutter, but just tidying up a lot of little things that have been kind of just sitting around and collecting dust. And I'm like, I'd rather see that being help to someone. And obviously, a lot of the things I list are way lower priced than your tradition. That's why they're moving so much quicker. Because they're like, wow, what a deal, right? Other stuff is a little pricier, but I try to do my research, but at the same time, I try to be reasonable because I know what it's like at the other side too. But so anyway, and I know there's fees, and you got to wait like a week, and I haven't even got my first paycheck back yet because I'm still just starting to sell a lot. But I've been so excited. I've been bringing over like 3 little boxes a day. I'm starting to run out of boxes. Thank goodness. This is why I keep all my cardboard boxes for a few months, because every once in a while I'm like, I gotta sell something and I need some little boxes. And I always hang on to like the extra, like they have the little folder of paperwork that they give you every couple of weekends with a lot of little things just stuffed in them, those little free like advertisements and stuff. And I'll crinkle those up and use those to pack in there and use that for packing. And sometimes I get the really long like brown packing stuff. Normally I would just burn that, but I was lucky enough to before I gotta do the burn, let's see how many boxes first off I can recycle and use. And thankfully I've been pretty lucky that a lot of the fairly smaller boxes I've had have pretty much fit most of them. A couple of them were a little cramped, and a couple edges were kind of bumped over, but I'm excited, and I know there's some things I sold way lower than I should had. But I'm like, but I'm grateful that it's going to somebody, and I hope it goes to a good home. And anyway, so I'm just excited. It's been nice to and I went in the other day, and this was all dirty and dusty, and I know normally they use it for China, but I'm all excited. I'm calling it my Transformer Museum. And I know I still have some more upstairs too. Eventually, I hope I can either bring them all down here eventually, or whether I'll have some here and then some if we ever get the arcade set up. I don't know if I'll ever get the arcade set up because I don't know. I may be I'm at the preface pretty much of losing like a third of my income, and it's been great. That's probably why I'm feeling better too, because I'm like, a little bit more cash is coming back in my way. But and it's hard locally. It's hard to sell like the big cabinets. I'm not gonna just take them to the, spend $400 and then like a few months later go, nah, and then run them up to like GameStop and they give you like $15. I'm like, what? So, but trying to get those listed and the shipping on those like 60 pounds for those things, and they're massive because normally they're all still apart in pieces. But so it's been feeling good. I went through and I finally figured out, like, all right, look at all these extra streaming devices I had. Finally, I think I just sold my last Roku Ultra the other day. Yesterday, I dropped it off. I think today I had 4 packages I dropped off today. And we've been selling some G1 Classic Transformers. I'm going through some of the ones that are kind of not so good anymore. And I'm trying to, like, whether it be a War of Cybertron or Siege or, like, the reissue of something that came out more recently, or finding a version that they're a little bit more tighter joints or something that... It was really the combiners I was concerned about, the Gen 1 combiners. So I'm all excited the other day. I one of the packages I sent out today was... I had my 4 original Terracons. So I'm all excited. All I ever needed was... A lot of these ones we had collected, like the arms and the legs for these combiners. And we never had the money to get the one in the middle. So I finally found a hangar, and we found a great little deal, and they had all the parts, and I'm so excited to share with you all. I was like, yay, look at this. I'm so excited. So this is a bomb, and before I came to do my weekend update, I had to get out and run crazy over there because they close at 1 o'clock to get the shipping thing. So I got those dropped off. And I came back, and I was working slowly but diligently on the little stickers and everything, and plus the older ones I had, all the stickers were wearing, and it was nice to get a new set of stickers, and it was kind of fun. I mean, I have larger meaty fingers now than I used to when I was much, much, much smaller with these. But for me, this is like my little joy, my little hobby, and it was so nice just to bury myself the tail end of the week and the early part of the weekend here, just to kind of get buried in my whole thing, and like doing research and, you know, looking diligently for to fill in a few gaps on my little collection there. And all I really cared about was on Gen 1, it's pretty much most of the characters from like Season 1, 2, and 3 originally. And then, of course, I think they've reissued all the Headmasters, so I got those. All I'm short now, and now it's an exciting feeling when you're down to, I think, because they've reissued a lot of the classic vehicles for Gen 1. So I'm like looking for War Cybertron, and normally I don't have money to do any of this, especially since I just lost a ton of and this is why I'm able to get excited, because normally I can't share any of this with anyone, because I'm like, well, you know, they start judging, where's your money coming from? Or maybe some of us, God forbid, had saved some. I've been working very diligently because I'm trying to finish for this surgery too. And this is more like just a little bit of money I'm using back for the things I'm selling. I put aside the surgery money and I said, okay, now beyond that, here's a little bit of spending money for me to kind of but tidy up some ends on my hobby. And I was all excited. I've been plugging away at it. I'll show it all to you all soon in the future. But we have an old Omega Supreme, Gen 1 Omega, not the reissued Earthrise one. And I was really surprised and I finally figured out how to put the feet together, because that was the hardest part for me. Because I'm a very visual person. When I was a kid, I used to take stuff apart and figure out how it worked. That's why I studied psychiatry, because I wanted to know how the human brain worked and why people were acting a certain way and their attitude and their problems with me ever since as young as I can remember. But I was all excited. I found I started diligently digging deep for little certain specific parts, and geez, that's getting expensive. And I knew that was going to happen. But it's way cheaper than going out to buy the new Earthrise reissue of him. Though the tank, I was excited. I put the batteries in and the tank thing lit up. So I'm doing little things. I've been trying to sell some of my doubles. I did the streaming ones. I had a couple of little like NES Classic and SNES Classic. I have all those on my computer. I've got them on my gorgeous arcade machine. I'm like, I don't need them in 5 different places at this point, because, you know, they helped me at the time. They were there, and I'm grateful. And I think I sold it a lot lower than it should. Like, I think it was 268 SNES games on it, and I sold it a lot less than what it cost me to do that. Same with the SNES. I think there's all 700 games on there, or 660, something like that when I last counted. And I think I only got those left, but it's just a nice feeling too when you kind of are cleaning up some clutter. And I was selling some other things, and sadly I was bumming. I almost made $1,000 on my beautiful iPad, but that's getting sent back now, and we'll have to try to relist that. It was a little boo-boo on that. I was like, oh man, but I'm not complaining because I'm still being productive. What a great feeling. I'm getting to know that some of the guys up there. Where I drop off and they're seeing more and more often. They're like, wow. I said, yeah, I'm excited. There's like a lot of things moving right now. And I said, I'm glad I'm able to kind of, you know, declutter a bit at the home. I was going to say, you won't be seeing me a ton for a while. It'll be like this little chunk of time that I'm working on it. And then I think I've still got, at least as of this recording, I think I still have a couple of the Technobots. But I'm excited. I think I found the whole set finally, because we only got 3 of those. We never got the 4th one, and I was never able to get the middle one either. And I think we found Defensor, and I've got to look. There's some other ones. Anyway, it's exciting. Just like I love getting buried in my house, but not in a level of the hobby where it's like costing you tons of money. It's so nice, like when you can go through and you're looking at your collection. Okay, do I really need this one? You know, what's the condition of this? Can I do this? What, you know, you start asking all these questions. And same with Predaking. I think I still have a couple of my older Predaking characters as well. And those are listed up there too. It's the McCarty.com, and I think it's like Dr.Fox or something. I think that's my seller. I tried to get Dr.Fox, but That's frivolous. Anyway, so I'm selling a few more things up there. I think there's still a few DVDs because I don't use DVDs anymore. I would have preferred just go all digital, but there's a couple of movies that are 4K, and yeah, they're going 4K digital too. But there's a couple of physical ones like G.I. Joe the movie Blu-ray, and Transformers. They just re-released the 35th anniversary of Blu-ray, 4K UHD. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I've been re-enjoying and reinvigorating freeways like on Tubi. The legal freeways on Tubi, sitting through the old days like commercials and just plugging away, putting little stickers on while the shows are on. It's an exciting. I don't get to watch them very often. Usually Monday through Friday is pretty much crazy busy all week long, and it's exciting to get to a point where I'm so exhausted by Friday. I'm just like, okay, let's go chill out, because I used to be able to get through weeks and weeks and months and years dealing with all that chaos, just constant, and it's exhausting. I'm so mentally exhausted by the end of each day and each afternoon. That's why it's so difficult for me to do that. And I'm trying to cut back where I can, because I was just thinking to myself, I was like, with a chica with TBI like myself and a list of other struggles I have, it's so nice when you get kind of buried in doing that. Or like, I know I always used to feel that way, like when I'd start to game a little bit, or if I would just like work on one of my robots or something like that. It was always exciting to enjoy that. And I wanted to spend a little more time, and I know we're almost pushing this way back to almost a half hour again. And it's not about time, pushing it to a certain point. We could say it's a construct. But just a couple of hellos. We had a person I know in my life, their birthday was on the August, just the other day. So happy B-Day to them. As well. And I think with that, that's probably a good segue for us, especially since it had said reconnect. And I noticed that. I was like, okay, I think that's my cue to kind of wrap this up. Again, I'll put once I have time to edit, you can jump past half of my babbling. And it's not babble, but some will misinterpret that. So I think we'll get in here, and I can kind of show you where I'm at. I think, like I said, I hit Renown 62 this week. I'm up to. I'll be happy to hit 64 on, like I said, I think I usually wait till Wednesday. Of course, Mondays are so crazy busy, especially right now when I have extra things for sale. It's like, oof, and they're moving pretty good. I don't want to jinx myself, because my luck, I'll say that, and then like pretty much the rest of the stuff I have listed like won't sell. But I keep coming down on the price a little, so hang in there. If I had tons more viewers and stuff, I'm sure this stuff would just move so much quicker for those that are passionate about that kind of circumstance. All right, so let's take a look here. We're at 62, and I know they were having some issue with one of your followers back here. Let me see, where's like Pelagos. See, you can see also that this is what I was talking about with the Conduit. They're starting to appear now in the middle, and they'll continue down like this. Like this, and they say to put some of your more powerful, strong ones up here. You can see I've pretty much got almost everything to purple at this point, and I still have more Conduit energy to use as well. And I know I should be going over here. I keep forgetting that when I log in, I gotta come over to click on the. Oh, wait, here it is for the Conduit. I think it's the last one. I think now there's two when you want to connect these. I think permanently. Yeah, I think permanently now. I think select your location to permanently activate. You want to reinforce it there. X that location. Yeah, there's a place that gives you offerings, and I'm trying to put them on the two offerings for each location for it to be permanently available to you. I just keep forgetting to come in each day to do my Conduit, because usually I'm so busy. But yeah, let's get into this. I love my calendar, kitty. Share with me too, by the way, if you got to enjoy Free T-Shirt Day and you found my videos to be helpful. I've always appreciated that. I hope that can be. And with that said, Sanctum of Domination, final tier, Sylvanas. I could finally get rid of that quest. Well, let's hope we can do it. It's pretty hard to do. LFR is gonna be opening up to queue for that as well this week. Shadowlands Dungeon event, that's going to be ending for those that were doing that needed that extra piece of gear. PvP Brawl, a Shadow Pan, a Showdown begins. That reminds me of that animated show. It's a Pet Battle bonus event. That's beginning as well. PvP Brawl. Deep Wind Dunk. That's ending this week. Don't forget, we've got a couple of Trial of Styles coming up the end of next weekend as we head into Labor Day. And for some of you, happy back going back school. Back school. Going back school. Back school. Yeah, well, not so excited. But that's a song from one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And this time of year, when I used to run at the radio station, I used to play that song the day after Labor Day, when people would be going back to school, or like the week before in some of the areas that would start school early. Have you already started weeks ago? Did you never stop? Are you starting next week? Are you starting this week? Feel free to share that. Or do you know someone that is? By all means, feel free to share that as well. So I think that's pretty much it. We're going to kind of leave you there. I'm going to wrap this up for a good little half-hour segment. Chilling and hanging out with you. We all know you're here for Miss Mora, not me. Kidding. Just kidding. It's all good. I was excited. I had to share those. We had a couple of little combiners. This is a very exciting, passionate moment for me, because it's been something that, I'm using the things I'm selling, and like I said, I put aside the money I got to put aside, and now I have a little bit I can invest in my hobby, if you will. And it's nice to find a few of these little goodies, and it's bringing me joy. We don't need someone else to be shooting down your joy again, because they're like, oh, God forbid we can't see Jen smile or be in a decent mood ever again. We have to have her be miserable. As the old saying goes, misery loves company. So I think with that, let's take two things this week to try to pull us out of the misery. I know it's not fun going back to school. A lot of you are like, oh, crap, it's over already. I got to go back to school. I feel for you. I've been there more times than I want to. Trust me. It's not easy bouncing back with $100,000. And even though I'm a military veteran, it does not mean that I was able to be lucky enough to have a GI Bill either. I won't talk about that story today, but we're going to wrap this up. So I think with that, just a couple of things to contemplate. If you're doing school, just be aware of those that are doing school. There's a fun little couple of morning audios that I miss listening to, that like they used to do like a little James Brown one, and they'd be interviewing someone, and like they're pretending to go to school, and they have this during one of the morning show audios. And I'm not being very descriptive on it, but that particular one always comes to mind around this time of year when people go back. And I think with that, we'll want to take a couple of things to be vigilant about. Remember, there'll be kids and parents and people just crossing the road. We should always be doing that all year long, but we just want to be a little bit more extra vigilant more recently. And I know I have been constantly, especially more vigilant in the last couple of weeks, but I've always tried to be a vigilant watcher of everything I do, no matter how hard I try. And then I say that, and then the next week we'll get a crash, right? But that's not because... Anyway, with that, let's wrap it up. Let's do that. Two things. Call me in the morning. You know the drill. We will see you later.